The CDF has rolled out a plan to remove SSENYONYI from the position of the leader of opposition. As a country must cry for the CDF to continue uttering statements which are contrary to the Constitution. Under our Constitution, a serving army officer is not allowed to engage in partisan politics, let alone a CDF and a son of the president. And nothing can be done because even those within the NRM are coiling their tails as the country is being taken to the negative side. In a tweet, MUHOOZI Karugaba came out to say, "I've instructed the PLU to study how to remove SSENYONYI from being a leader of the opposition as soon as possible." MUHOOZI continued to say, "I want a new leader of opposition in parliament and I'll get him. He will be endorsed by me." Those are the tweets that were taken by MUHOOZI Karugaba. I was discussing with someone and he was referring to MUHOOZI Karugaba as a drunkard who doesn't understand. MUHOOZI Karugaba understands. When he puts out some tweet, it's not because he's drunk. I know because of political satire, they can call him drunk maybe to get to his nerves. But he understands. I don't want to veil him with to being a drunkard. Because even drunkards, in our culture, they say drunkards don't eat dogs. They understand. I don't want to veil him like that. He does everything understanding. A person who tells you that I'm going to abduct Lukwaga and he does so. I'm going to put him in basement, he does so. That's not being drunk. It's just maybe when maybe if you call it drunk with power, but being drunk with alcohol, that's not the same thing. When the CDF comes out to say that he's going to remove the leader of opposition, it means two things. One, do you remember a law that was once taunted by Richard Lum, where the leader of opposition was going to be elected by the entire house? That meant the NRM, since they have the majority, they can decide who they vote for as a leader of opposition. Maybe that law was being brought by MUHOOZI Karugaba. Or two, if you want to remove him, okay, you can remove him by killing him. It is very possible. Because if you kill SSENYONYI, you will no longer be a leader of opposition. Three, maybe if you want to remove him, you can put him to a court process for a long period of time, but that does not achieve removing him. Maybe if you sentence, because if you sentence SSENYONYI, will also lose the parliamentary seat after sentencing. Okay? Because under our law, if a person is sentenced, I think, for more than 2 years, sentencing, not trying, someone is eligible to losing his parliamentary seat. Maybe that. And that can happen. For me, when I look at these things, I feel like crying. Because MUHOOZI is playing Russian roulette with our country. The fundamentals, even the small fundamentals which were left for our politics are being destroyed. There are certain things General Museveni couldn't do. Even when he does, he cannot come out in camera to chase Trump. MUHOOZI himself is doing. It is the truth. In fact, even SSENYONYI came out to say that there is a plan of trying to put him on the file of Mwanga Chivumbi of terrorism so that he can go in jail. Because these days, everyone who speaks up, they threaten him with jail. And I implore leaders who are elected, at least for you elected, don't fall for these threats. Every time you fall for this threat that whenever I speak up, they'll jail me, the authoritarian would have won. Jason, you said these statements.
Kati bingi byempuliddeeyo nti bakyageza meeting zituula baagala okungata ku fayiro ezimu kati ng'eyo Butambala ey'obutujju bannaffe abo babalanga ate nga si bituufu oba fayiro endalalala mbiwulira bingi naye nze naye tebintiisa buli lwali twogera ku nguzi ne batandika okufumbafumba banoonyereza SSENYONYI ono naye kati munoonyerezeeko oba waliwo enguzi banoonyereza paka lwe baakoowa tewali tebaasanga so kati nebino bye bafumba bajja bifumba paka nga bisiridde kubanga tewali kibajja kunzuulako okwogera nti kino kikyamu tekulina kubeera musango era ne bannaffe abali makomera baliyo lwa kwogera mazima so kati ne boona ojweteka ne bwokola otya ffe tujja sigala nga tutuukiza obuvunaanyizibwa bwaffe.
That is SSENYONYI. So he knows. Okay? So the authoritarian uses the technique of instilling fear in those who are speaking against the truth, so that you cannot act anymore, so that he is the only person to have a center stage. That's what bullies do. Until we stand against the bully. When a bully is stood against, he understands that what he has been doing is wrong. In fact, Moses Kayonga continued to say, nothing in the laws of my country stops me from appointing a leader of opposition that I think is best suited for the job. Nothing at all. He continued to say, after Honorable Kabanda finishes with SSENYONYI, I will be waiting for him. Okay? Honorable Kabanda is authorized to lead the operation in Parliament to give us a new leader of opposition. So that is MUHOOZI planning to remove SSENYONYI in an unconstitutional manner, which I've explained in that video, which is very, very unfortunate. But Moses Kayonga also had a band of SSENYONYI on Twitter. When Moses Kayonga came out to say, before I arrest you, let me educate you, small boy. Do not compare me to the Lord's Resistance Army, LRA of Joseph Kony. We fought them for many years. I know what they were. If I was LRA, you could not own your testicles today. That was Moses warning SSENYONYI, because SSENYONYI had earlier come out to compare Moses Kayonga to LRA. But SSENYONYI also came out to say, LRA used to commit crimes in God's name. You too offend the law and then tell us how you are a descendant of Jesus Christ, as if to insinuate that you do all the wrong you do in his name. That was a banter that was on Twitter. Because every time Moses wants to justify something, he hides himself under a descendant of Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ was here today, trust me, he would deny Moses Kayonga. And that's all authoritarian and dictators hide under religion and spirituality so that they can look like they are saints, which is unfortunate. So for me, I think, one, I may not be surprised if SSENYONYI is added on a file, because that's how authoritarians do, for fear. And when they fear, when they want to show that they have power and authority, they resort to doing unconstitutional things until Ugandans wake up. Of course, that's my PRMino's truly, Mr. Makinde Kabiyesura and Margaret. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I'm motivated to do more such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.